they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for the Real Sports Talk, along with Justin of not only the Real Sports Talk, but Franchise Sports Talk, and also Richard, who we had on a long time ago, and he's been doing a lot more work for us on the website now, and he's going to be joining us in a lot of the MLB videos. First off, we're going to be doing a MLB trade deadline blowout live show tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern on the Blitz Hardcore Podcast, Blog Talk Radio / Blitz Hardcore Podcast. It's like the #2 rated show on the entire website, so you're going to want to check that out. Myself, Justin, Richard, and then John Burns, who also helps us out with this MLB coverage. Two, I don't know if I'd say big trades, but medium-type trades go down tonight, both involving the Chicago Cubs. The first one is that the Chicago Cubs sent Geovanny Sotto, who's batting .199 this year with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs, but we know what he's capable of and what he's done in the past. They sent him out to Texas, where he'll be Mike Napoli, who isn't having a terrible season, but isn't repeating what he did last year. He'll be his backup. Richard, what do you think about that move?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a minor move. I think it's just for some catching depth. Like you said, everybody knows what he's capable of. If you look back to his rookie season in 2008, where he finished for the Rookie of the Year, hit for .285, 23 bombs, and he just hasn't been able to get it together this year. He's had some injuries, and I think he'll serve as a very valuable backup to Napoli. And with that, actually, there was another transaction. Geovanny Sotto has been optioned, so now he's expendable for the Rangers. So we'll to see what happens with him.
I bet Sotto will get picked up by some team just because he's had the experience being down the stretch with not only the Rangers last year, but he's in it with the Rockies in 2007. I don't think Geovanny Sotto really has a lot left. But, Justin, what do you think about Sotto to the Rangers?
Sotto to the Rangers. I really like this trade. Like Richard pretty much covered it, really. Having a down year this year, batting .195, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs. Geovanny Sotto has been sent down on an assignment. Geovanny Sotto this year, I mean, he's not that type of everyday type of catcher. But when you look at this, Geovanny Sotto is going to get picked up by a team that could really need another catcher. I mean, a team that really comes to my mind is the Milwaukee Brewers. They got rid of George Gutaris, and now they got to fill up the backup role. Jonathan Lucroy is there, so you could probably see the Milwaukee Brewers probably getting at Geovanny Sotto. This year, Sotto has 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and he's batting .236. Now, with the acquirement of Geovanny Sotto to the Texas Rangers, I really like this 1-2 tandem right here. You got Mike Napoli, like Richard said, is not having the very solid year like he had last year, but Geovanny Sotto really provides great defensive depth, so that's a pretty good acquirement right there.
Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
I would, Torrealba, another team outside of the Brewers, because I don't think he'll go to the Brewers, only because they did pick up Humberto Quintero. The Tampa Bay Rays, please, get a pulse at the catching position.
Tampa Bay Rays. We'll see what happens. I think he's not a terrible pickup, and for a team like the Rays, he brings some experience. That move actually sounds pretty decent. The other move that the Cubs made tonight is they continue to be one of the biggest sellers. While everyone's talking about my Phillies as, oh, they're having a fire sale, even though they haven't really traded anyone away except Jim Thome like a month ago. The Cubs have been one of the teams that have sold off a few pieces. One of them, or two of them actually tonight, that they sent in another trade were Paul Maholm and Paul Maholm and Reed Johnson. Reed Johnson's having one of the best seasons of his career at age 36 this year. He's going to be a nice 4th outfield addition to the Atlanta Braves. And then Paul Maholm's been on fire as of late. We were talking about this off air, but Paul Maholm this year, 9-6, 3.74 ERA. But Richard, what he's done as of late, that's been what's been impressive.
Yeah, for sure. Over his last 7 starts, he has an ERA of 1. A little fantasy note here. I picked him up myself. He's a stud as of right now. 120 innings this year. He's probably on pace right now to reach around, probably pretty close to 200. A very solid pitcher for the Braves, who tomorrow have Chris Medellin, who's widely known as a reliever, going. They really needed some pitching depth. And they really didn't give up too much for him. They gave up Jay Chapman, who was drafted, like I said off air, like 80 years ago, more like 7 back in 2005. Never made it to the majors. And they gave up Aroldis Vizcaino, who, he's been really solid in the minors. He's had a little bit of major league experience and really hasn't done too well. He had Tommy John this year. We'll have to see how he comes off Tommy John. Before the season, he was rated as the number 40 prospect according to Baseball America. And also, the Braves, they have some stability with Maholm next year. He has a $6.5 million option. And if he keeps it up, that's going to be extremely inexpensive for the Braves if he continues to pitch the way he is. I really like this. I really like these additions for the Braves.
Yeah, Paul Maholm's been one of those guys that he can have some really good years. He had a solid year. Actually, last year with the Pirates, he had a pretty good year. And in 2008, he has a really good year with the Pirates. And then he'll give you years where he'll have a 4.5, 5 ERA. So he's not necessarily someone that is consistent from year to year. But every 2 or 3 years, Paul Maholm seems to have a really solid season, be that really solid number 3 or 4 starter for a contender, except he really hasn't been with a contender to this point in his career. This reminds me a lot of last year when the Tigers picked up Doug Fister at the trade deadline. Doug Fister's a guy that I don't think anyone felt was like an ace, but at the time that they picked him up, he was pitching that way. He pitched well for them in the playoffs last year. Actually, he pitched better than Justin Verlander in the playoffs last year and ended up being their number 2 guy in the playoffs. I'm not saying Paul Maholm's going to do that because they have a little bit more depth in the rotation. Tim Hudson, Tommy Hanson, Ben Sheets has been great so far. You got Mike Minor, and as you mentioned, Chris Medlin will go tomorrow. And then you would assume that Paul Maholm will take his spot in the rotation. So it's a pretty solid overall rotation, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much summed it up. Paul Maholm having a really great production year. Looking into the future on is he going to return to Atlanta Braves? I can really see this happening. Him getting a greater shot, maybe to go up a little bit higher in the pitching rotation. He's likely to be their number 5 pitcher from now until the end of the season. So if he just keeps up what he's doing right now, I can really see the Atlanta Braves picking up his option. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got on that.
I don't know if it'd be real smart to pick up the option because we mentioned how inconsistent he has been from year to year, but we'll see what happens. Those are the 2 big moves. Again, if anything happens big during the day tomorrow, we'll be here on YouTube to recap it. If anything big happens tonight, we'll be on the Blitz Hardcore Podcast live 11 p.m. Eastern, Blog Talk Radio /Blitz Hardcore Podcast to break it all down. And yeah, we will see you guys there tomorrow night.
Just a little place around the corner from fear. Be there, next year, where I'm going.